Straub Sports Show. Sundays, Mondays, we live for the fight. Hey, college game day and Thursday night. Hey, rivals fall and the banter flies. We bleed our teams till the day we die. S-T-R-A-U-E. Two loud mouths and a love for the league. From Cleveland roots to the world we go. This is the Straub Sports Show. Show.
Welcome everybody to another episode of the Straub Sports Show, hitting you back to back Wednesday, Thursday. Here we go, little bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care how you doing, but I'm gonna ask it anyways. What's going on, little bro? How we doing?
Hey, you know what? And that's how I know we're brothers, because 9 times out of 10, when you ask that question in my mind, I go, he doesn't care. But you ask it anyways, and that's what I appreciate about you. I'm doing good.
If I didn't talk to you nonstop every day, it would be a legitimate question. But by the time we're here, dude, I've talked to you too much. But you know, I love you. Either way, welcome into the Straub Sports Show. It is Thursday, which means it's time for our review. Which means also, you see my shirt, Hakuna Matata. I come in peace today. Okay. There will be no complaining. There will be no bitching today. I'm in check. I'm good. We've got stuff to talk about anyways. What we will not talk about, I'm going to talk about it because we're not going to talk about it. We're going to tap in on the Michigan situation when we have more details. However, the fact that some of these coaches that are being floated now is just hilarious. You are not getting Alabama's coach. You're not getting Notre Dame's coach. Iowa State, that's a good one. You can have that one. But yeah, some of these names being floated so far. Dreamville. Although John Gruden to Michigan.
That I heard John Gruden, I heard Kalen DeBoer, and then I also heard Brian Kelly, and those are the 3 names that I heard. Obviously, this is just Brian people Kelly going, hey, they'd be good, but that's about it.
Brian Kelly heard here first on the Straub Sports Show. And I want to give our guy Greg, who taps in with us in the comments a lot. He missed yesterday's show, but he ran it back. He sent me something, and I have a question before we get to this week's college football game. And it was blue blood tiers in college football. And the top tier, that top list, Oklahoma, Michigan, Notre Dame, Alabama, Ohio State. I agree. Okay, now me personally, I think, and I know this is going to sound like the Homer thing, but I think I'm number 1. I know we can all agree to disagree. I think Michigan and Ohio State are right there. Alabama is 100% there. And as crazy as it is, Oklahoma is one of those jobs that when it is open, everybody does want. Right underneath that, Miami, USC, Nebraska, and Texas. For me personally, I think Texas is up on the higher rank. Under that, Penn State, LSU, Tennessee, and Georgia. And then Clemson, Oregon, Florida, and Florida State. So something to argue about. I'm going to steal that graphic. I'm going to send it out. Shout out to Ray in the comment section already. Appreciate you, big dog, as always. But Drew, enough blue bloods, enough tears. We got a game this week, Brody. And and not only is it a big one in the history of college football, it's a personal big one for us, and that is the 126th Army-Navy game. They are celebrating the 250th birthday of the United States Army. As you see, Army's helmets there and some sharp white uniforms. Not to be outdone, but I'm going to probably have to give it to the other side. The United States Naval Academy just coming out with some heat, okay? That's just fire, okay? I mean, spoiler alert, we are Go Army, Beat Navy on this side, or on both sides of the Straub Sports Show. Shout out to our Uncle Kurt, retired staff sergeant out of the Army. But Drew, before we get to the game, talk to me about these fire-ass uniforms.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you look at both. I'm gonna bring this one up again as well because we started with it. It's one of those things where obviously both typically go pretty crazy with the designs, but
Yeah.
then but also Army can go back to something like this where it's clean, it's sleek, the numbering is just a little different, and it looks so good.
Hmm.
That's how you do a more modest uniform, and I think that's kind of obviously Army and Navy always set the standard when it comes to uniforms,
Yeah.
but usually that comes into terms of the spectacle on the helmets and all the stuff that comes with it. But
Yeah.
when you have something like this, where like any team can do something like this and do it super clean and super nice, it just shows that anything Army puts out is always going to be good, but they just take it to that next level, no matter if it's a lot or just a little.
Oregon does cool things every week. No two teams bring out better uniforms than these two teams for this week. It's never outdone. I'm going to
No.
switch back over to Navy while you were talking. I mean, that helmet is just one of the best things that I've ever seen in my life. On the field, on the game, let's talk about it. Now, Navy, heavily favored in this game, and rightfully so. Navy has played well all year. They were a weird tiebreaker away from actually making their conference championship. They currently are 6.5 point favorites. This is one of my favorite games. The over under on this game, 38.5. One of the lowest over unders that you will just see, period. However, this is the greatest part about this game. Those records don't mean jack shit. Um, Army's going to come to play. We've seen this Army team upset the Naval Academy when the Naval Academy has been ranked. We saw a great game. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say a great game last year. We saw a good game last year with two ranked teams, two very good teams that were actually on the verge of both being able to make the top 25 to finish the season. But Drew, take me on the field. Break down the numbers for me on the Army Navy game.
Yeah, and I think you hit the first part right. Is that while maybe it's not as big of a game maybe as last year in terms of both teams being really really well. Army being 19th, Navy I think the week prior falling out of the top 25.
That was a 9-3 overall at the end of the year. That was a 9-3 Navy and an 11-2 Army team. So
Right.
we had a great ranked one, a great one last year, but it'll still be a great one.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think the best part about this is it's finally come to we're able to finally look at this Army Navy rivalry in the past 6-7 years and say this is a rivalry again, because obviously you take it back kind of in the 2000s and 2010s, Navy won 14 in a row before Army strung out 3 in a row right after that. But these past 6 games, 3-3, Army, Navy obviously taking the last one, and then Army taking the previous 2. And so
It would have
it's a
beat down
game
31-13 beat down last year.
It's a game where you want it to be close, you want it to be back and forth every year, and now it looks like we're returning to that. And it's really good to see, just because this is a rivalry that I don't think either team wants to be one-sided, if we're being completely honest. They want the other team to be good enough to challenge them, and it'd be a fun rivalry.
But lose.
Because listen, but at the end of
but lose.
but it's honestly it's so different from other rivalries. It's not an Ohio State Michigan. It's not a Notre Dame USC. It's not an Alabama Auburn, where there's like real animosity for these teams. They're gonna go hard. They are going to go very tough. But at the end of the day, these are both teams and universities that truly have great respect for each other. But in those 60 minutes on the field, there is no love, and that's exactly how we do it. But they're always respectful, always great. And again, it is now both teams throwing punches and not just one or the other. And I think that's the best part about it.
Absolutely. Do me a favor. Throw Greg's comment up for me. Welcome in, Greg. We used your. We did talk about your. Thanks for not doing what I asked you to.
You put Greg's comment on the screen.
Thank you. I didn't see it.
Yeah, how about you calm down over there?
Nope. I'm still fired up, but I'm keeping it together. Greg, we did talk about your tier graphic earlier. I want to bring that up. I want to make that a social media post because I don't agree with some of it. I did not even bother to tell my brother what the last tier of. All I'm going to say is Boise State's in it, if that's all you need to know. But back to this game. One of the – there we go. That's what I was looking for. Sorry. I was doing stuff in the background. This game is bigger than the game. Normally, these teams play for the Commander-in-Chief trophy. Air Force is also involved, but it usually does lie here between these two teams. The pregame is going to be amazing. Both full brigades and corps march onto the field. Both the Army and the Navy get a flyover. The president, regardless of who the president is always in attendance at this game and makes a point of doing the coin toss. He meets with both teams before. This is politics aside. I don't care what you feel like right now. That's not what's important right now. Obviously, the uniforms. There's a prisoner exchange, which is pretty awesome. There are I think it's 5 naval cadets and 5 Army cadets that are both spending the entire year on opposite campuses. During the Army-Navy game, the prisoner exchange takes place, and they make a big scene of those guys being able to, or girls going to be able to go back to finally to their friends and to their other or to their sideline. So that's something to watch for. It's also, and I like to bring it up when Notre Dame plays Navy, but it's also one of the few games all year that you will see, and it will also be televised, where both teams, obviously winning team going last, will go and stand for both teams' alma mater as well. It's one of the few things we have in sports that you can look at and go, this is uniquely ours. This is uniquely American in the way that it's done. And damn, this country could use a little bit of that. A little bit of unity and a little bit of togetherness. So do it with some football. This is going to be not the cleanest game of football that you've ever seen in your life, but it's going to be one of the most intense. And in terms of the pageantry, it's damn near unmatched.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think to call back, in terms of this year as well, this Army-Navy game does decide the Commander-in-Chief trophy as Air Force lost both games this season. Navy 32-20-1, the leader overall. Like I said, mostly due to that 14 consecutive victories in the 2000s and 2010s. But no, you're absolutely right. I think this is a game where most people that don't know college football look at it and go, these two teams aren't at the top of college football. It's a rivalry, and it's between two universities that represent sometimes things that people don't like about the United States. But when you truly look at it from a collegiate perspective, it is players playing for their universities of the military branch that they're going to go into, and it is just a massive show of, like you said, unity and sportsmanship that when you truly dig into kind of the meaning of it is truly, like you said, unique to not just the United States, but to college football itself, because there really is no other professional sport that does something like this.
And regardless, so we're a big military family on the Straub Bro Sports Show. Shout out to our uncle, shout out to our cousin, shout out to my other cousin, shout out to our cousin's husband. We definitely care about this game. And I agree with this, although I'm not an Ohio State or a Michigan fan.
I was gonna say you would have to say like Notre Dame USC or Notre Dame Miami or something like that.
I do. You know this.
Yes,
and
I'm just saying.
Before, this is my favorite college football game of the year every year. I love this game so much. it's also like, and they're going to talk about it on the broadcast. They're going to talk about it in the pregame. And I love to point it out. These guys aren't graduating and getting ready for the NFL Combine. These guys are graduating and they're going to war. They're going on ships. They're going to, they're going away. Like they're out. These guys are not graduating to boot camp. These guys are graduating and they're going to do the real stuff. So this is their last opportunity, unless one of them was to make a bowl game. But this would one of them will play in the Armed Forces Bowl. But this is their last opportunity to be on the football field, and they get to do it against the only other school, obviously Air Force as well, but they're newer. But they get to do it against the only other school that's doing the same thing as them. So it's bigger than football. And yeah, I'm not afraid to say it trumps all. The only game right behind it for me is Notre Dame Navy. So there has to be an academy involved. And other than that, it would be Notre Dame Army. So this game is it for me. I love this game. I won't talk about it enough. I know it's not the most entertaining game to talk about, but I will say this though. And there's our Air Force veteran. I knew he was going to come in and get it eventually.
Listen, you need to get a better team because I want to talk about Air Force, but man, it's been a while since Air Force has had a team together.
A couple years, but yes. I will say this, and I didn't put any big odds in for college this weekend, or did big bros, big bets on that. I did it on the NFL side. Take the over. 38.5, whatever, man. This Navy team can score. Maybe they'll force Army out of its shell. No pun intended. And yeah, we'll get a little, a decent scoring affair.
And just to put a nice little bow on it, Navy. I'm not sure about Army because I think they need this game to qualify for a bowl. But Navy has already accepted a bowl bid to the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, where they will face my Cincinnati Bearcats.
Hey, let's go!
And so an old school American game from about 4 or 5 years ago. And listen, I'm gonna love this game. I'm going to hate that game because it is going to be players that have not declared for the draft trying to stop Navy, and watching your team play Navy may be worse than any other game all year. This is the best game. That is the worst game.
And that is how I am going to end it. Go Army, beat Navy. Either way, we're looking for a good one here. All right, Drew. So it's time to talk about the college football. No, I'm joking. We got
a week.
We're done. Also, I'm just going to put it out there. There are bowl games this weekend. However, I will be standing in tandem with my school, okay, with my coach and my seniors. I will be boycotting and I will be withdrawing my considerations from bowl pick'ems this year. So I will not be participating in our bowl pick'ems. I am out.
I'm gonna tear my corneas by how hard my eyes rolled on that.
That's fine. It gives us more time. Actually, one more final time. I'm gonna do this because they're just awesome. One more time for the jerseys and helmets. That's how your United States Army will come out, and the U.S. Navy as well. Listen, the helmets, I gotta go. I'm not gonna lie. The edge in the uniforms goes to Navy on this one, but we'll see you on the field. Go Army, be Navy. All right, let's talk some NFL, Drew. It's time to get into it. We've got a big week ahead of us. We know about all the percent. You talked about a lot of the percentages. We talked about our wild card positions, our division leaders. Let's get to the games. We start tonight. Baker and them boys. Couple healthier boys. I thought we weren't doing this.
No. He said you said you weren't doing this. Listen, you gotta just eat crow as when they talk about it.
That's all right. Where's your pit? What happened to your Panthers? Okay. All I know is you had to try to score a garbage touchdown against us. You got smoked. Okay. When it counted, you got smoked. All right. Moving on. Baker and them boys, a much healthier Baker team. He's going to derail this whole entire show. Love you, Daniel. Hosts the very beat up, I don't know what's going on with them, Atlanta Falcons. If this game was being played from Sunday on, we would say Buccaneers, no problems, no issues. these Thursday night games are weird. Guys aren't able to get shot up with their medicine and the painkillers. The awful truth part of the NFL that people don't like to talk about. When you play on Sunday, you can't get them on Thursday. So you're going to have guys that are banged up and beat up. Is that enough to actually give Atlanta a chance?
It may, but I truly think that since Michael Penix Jr. became out for the year for these Falcons, they have definitely dropped a level in terms of just how the offense is able to run. And so Buccaneers getting healthy, 2 wide receivers, Evans and McMillan, back from injury, maybe not getting a lot of playing time, but just being able to get just have options for Baker to kind of throw the ball around at home. Like I said, this Falcons offense just is not great since Michael Penix went down. I truly like the Buccaneers on this one.
I do too. We'll talk about it more later. On Big Bros Big Bets. I did bring it back for this week for the NFL. Before I start getting ready to cook you up some college football or college basketball locks, and some NBA point totals.
Ray, if you're playing me, absolutely play the Atlanta defense. If you're not, I would say don't play the Atlanta defense tonight.
Man, yeah, do not play that Atlanta defense tonight. Although I actually, one of the defenses probably wouldn't be a bad idea because these Thursday night games have not also been the highest scoring games. I know there's been a couple of them, but
you know what? That Bengals defense is looking real nice, honestly.
Yeah, but I'm just saying there's been some bad ones, but yeah, I think Baker and them boys will rebound. I think they'll have a good night. Let's hope these parlays hit. I can't give you all of them because then that would just jinx me. But all right, let's get to Sunday at 1:00. Greg said it best. Greg, I don't know if the Lord could help your Bengals. Ravens at Bengals. At this point, the Bengals can just play spoiler to all the other teams in the AFC. They're still dangerous. I don't really think this Ravens team is that great right now. I actually think the Bengals can and will win this game. But I don't think there's other than that.
I mean, no, but also the Bengals, when you listen to at least Joe Burrow, but also some of the others, it does, like, while they probably know that their playoff hopes are done, the way that they speak in to the media about just being able to be happy to play again, like Joe Burrow, and having fun out there, that would scare me to death if I am the Baltimore Ravens. Because if Joe Burrow came up to the press conference midweek and was like, "Yep, we're on to Baltimore. I know it's a situation, but gotta just keep grinding." I'd be like, "Oh, they're done. Their season's absolutely washed. They're not gonna try. If we play clean, we're gonna be fine." The Bengals sound like they are just ready to just screw everyone up that is coming their way. And Baltimore being, one, losing to them already at home, but two, having just a shoddy defense. I would be petrified to play these Bengals that are literally going to just throw whatever they can at this Ravens team to make them lose.
This is going to be like a 45-40 game. And I love it, and I'm here for it. And, yeah, I think, man, I don't know what the route is for the Bengals. I don't know if they're officially eliminated. I don't know if they can catch the Steelers in the division. But I said it on Tuesday or yesterday. I'll say it again. That's the team all of us would want to see in the playoffs from this division. But, unfortunately, and real quick, hot take for you, Drew. Would you fight if you're the Bengals? Would you fire the head coach?
Oh, I've been wanting. I like when I was in Cincinnati, when I lived there, the year after the Super Bowl run, I went, he's not the right guy for this job. I went, the defense doesn't look any better, and they're still starting off slow offensively for the third straight year with Zach Taylor. The issue is that Zach Taylor is very much a learning it while I'm seeing it kind of coach, and that is so detrimental to the beginning of the season that this Bengals team could have one or two more wins and be firmly in a playoff contention if they had preparation at the beginning of the year. I think Zach Taylor should have been gone years ago.
I don't think he's a bad coach. I just don't think he's a good coach.
I think he's a great coordinator. I don't think he's a good head coach.
Mom's in the house. Love you, Mom. And yes, I mean they can still catch Pittsburgh, but come on now. And no, I'm Ray. I'm not even going to disagree with you there. Not the only coach that should be fired in that division. Oakland. Man, I did it again. The
You always do it, man.
The Las Vegas Raiders travel to Philly to take on the Eagles. Is a Raiders defense exactly what this Philly offense needs to get themselves back in tune, back in line, and actually look like a respectable Super Bowl defending champion?
I mean, they'll probably win,
Hmm.
just because I think the Raiders at this point. I don't think there's any other team, maybe the Giants, that I've seen just literally not even put a competitive team out on the field. And so I think the Eagles will just be able to just run their offense, get good yardage, let the defense kind of just feast on whoever they throw back there at quarterback. But in all actuality, I don't think that this game can do anything for this Eagles team, just because they're most likely going to make the playoffs. But however, you've seen what the Eagles do against some pushback, and I think that's where the issue is. No matter how much you beat the Raiders by, you're still going to need to prove it against some of these better teams.
Come on, Raiders. Harken back to some old John Madden and whatever you can possibly find and figure it out, and Al Davis, and light the torch and figure it out. Just please, for 1 week, make me happy. Arizona Cardinals take on the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans quietly coming along as a very, very strong contender in the AFC. They should be able to just take care of business, right?
I talk about this Cardinals team all the time. This is a Cardinals team that could trip you up, because they're not the Raiders, they're not the Giants, they're not the Jets. They're not just going to roll over when you put up 21, 30 points. They score 20 points basically weekly. Their defense just gives up 30 to 40. And so if I'm the Texans, I get the lead, keep scoring, because this Cardinals team isn't just gonna drop 10 points. They're gonna get some points on you. Just keep the foot on the gas the whole game. Don't let this team trip you up, because while technically you are in the driver's seat in terms of playoff condition, listen, one Phillip Rivers run with the Colts could undo this completely. I know he's 44 years old and probably can't run that great, but you never know.
He also couldn't throw the ball the last time we saw him in the NFL either. We'll get back to Daniel's comment when we get to the Colts, but we'll just Houston. Well, I don't even want to talk about Houston, and not in a bad way, but CJ Stroud, that defense, go take care of business. With the news that Kyler Murray is done for the season, is this it? Are we done with this?
Are you talking about, are we done with
the Kyler Murray experiment in Arizona? Are we done with this? Is this over?
I mean, if I'm being honest, if I'm being honest, I think the Cardinals, the issue is there are moments of true great play from Kyler Murray and great games from Kyler Murray. The issue is he's just not consistent enough to do that for 16 games or 17 games now in a season. And that's why you look bad. He's also hurt all the time. It's one of those things where you have given him every single opportunity to figure it out, cut down on the mistakes, cut down on the bad play, get healthy, and he just can't do it. And so I think at this point you have to say, listen, he's a lot of talent, but he's not showing it enough. We have to move on. And I think it's one of those ones where, depending on what falls to you in the draft, it would not be a wrong choice to pick it with your first round pick.
No, I mean, and there's a whole crop of you. The Giants in Tennessee and Vegas all with 2 wins, and then Washington, New Orleans, Cleveland, Arizona, and the Jets all with 3 wins. So you're all vying to suck enough to get that number 1 pick right now. So they're still in the running for it. But yeah, I think it's time to blow it up there in Arizona. Chargers at Chiefs. Is it fair to say that this is the most important game of Patrick Mahomes' career? because if they don't win this game, they are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. If they win this game, they still only have a small chance. But if we don't see this team and we don't see Patrick Mahomes at least fighting to the last week to kind of scratch and claw their way into the playoffs, I think it kind of puts to bed this whole legacy talk.
No, I think you're absolutely right, because and you made a great comment that you took last week, which was Tom Brady never played a meaningless game in his career. And so while I think that the Chiefs can absolutely win this game, especially because, one, they're at home. Two, while the Chargers have looked good as of late, they have been up and down at some points this season. And so if the Chiefs can get together and say, hey, listen, we still have a chance at this, like, it's not absolutely over, and put together a great performance, I think they can absolutely get this win and kind of roll this until the end, when things just have to go their way. But if they come out and they look like they did last week, where they were lethargic, they were slow, they really didn't seem like they were all together, and you have this Chargers team basically take this Chiefs team out of the playoffs at home, I think you have to look at this Chiefs team and say, was all that win? Are you tired of winning as a group, as a team, and do you need to inject new life, whether it comes with coaching staff and or players next year? Because you can't be this good of a team in the past 5 years and then just give up in week 15.
I don't trust the Chargers enough out of any team in the NFL to say that.
Have the Chargers put up 40 all year, by the way?
I mean, they could, but they could also put up 12.
Right.
If this was if it was any other team other than the Chargers and all of the teams that I listed that have 2 and 3 wins, I would take them over it. But just knowing it's the Chargers, hey, Chargers, you have a chance to put an end to this dynasty and knock it off and make them come back and start over. Only the Chargers could blow this.
True. Like, also, by the way, the Chargers have never put up 40 this season. They put up 37 once against the Vikings.
Well, Greg says this will be the week that they change that and they put up 40. For all we know, Justin Herbert is going to become the first quarterback besides Jalen Hurts to have to trump Jalen Hurts and have 3 turnovers in the same play, because they're just the Chargers and that's what happens. But
that'd be pretty impressive.
That would be. Nonetheless, I don't think the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs. I think this is it. And I'm going to steal another phrase from the great Pat Riley, who wrote it in his book, The Disease of Me. That's what happens when you win championships. Guys start to look in the mirror and go, I'm why. I need a bigger role. I deserve money. I deserve this. And not saying that there's a lot of selfish players on the Chiefs, but man, it's football. And these guys are putting their bodies on the line. And you start to win and guys start to go, all right, I can turn it up in the playoffs, or hey, now that I've got my money, I can, make sure that I'm healthy for the playoffs. No, man, you got to go in week in and week out and get it done. And the thing is, and this is in all of sports, you can be clutch as a person, but winning 1-score games and less than 3-point games, a lot of that is luck, not skill. And the Chiefs got a lot of luck last year and were like 7-1 or 9-1 last year in 1-score games. And they are like 0-something this year or 1-something this year. So the luck has not gone their way. That's a lot of it too. The ball isn't bouncing their way. The flag isn't on against them this year. Things just aren't all going their way, on top of the fact that this team is just not playing very well.
Yeah, and I mean, you see why New England was a dynasty when Brady was taking pay cuts in his contract, and Belichick made every player and rookie know basically everyone in the facility. It takes a team. It takes an absolutely huge effort. And yeah, if you have players, like you said, that are very much like, this is me, this is what I'm about this. I truly think that's why they let Tyreek Hill walk to Miami, because I think Tyreek Hill got too big. And then now you saw the Chiefs extended that run that they had for multiple years, because they were able to kind of use that money elsewhere. And I think it's gotten to a point where I think there's too many of those guys on those contracts that are you're not filling the gaps that you had before.
Absolutely. All right. Let's get to the battle for the AFC East. The Buffalo Bills travel to New England to take on the Patriots. This game should have been flexed and moved to wherever. I don't care what's on the next graphic. This is it here. If the Bills want any chance to try to get home field advantage and try to take this division, they have to win this game. They need a lot of extra help besides that. But is New England ready to take over again and reign supreme in the AFC?
And I think that is the question we're asking here, because one, New England is one of 3 teams that can clinch a playoff berth with a win on Sunday. But if the Bills happen to win, that's 10-4 versus 11-3. That's a 1-game difference going into the final 3 weeks of the season. And so if you're the Patriots, you're at home, you're against a Bills team that, while it can put up points and has looked impressive, is not the same Bills team of previous years that just look completely and utterly dominant. And so if I'm the Patriots, I am not changing my game plan from what has worked 11 out of 13 times this season. Your offense is humming it's going on all cylinders, and your defense, while maybe not amazing, is making the big plays to get your offense the ball back. And that's exactly what you need to do. And I don't think that's going to be a problem with a coach like Mike Vrabel. Vrabel isn't going to all of a sudden outcoach himself or try to
switch
it up because it's the Bills. He's going to run the same thing that has worked, whether it's for his benefit or for the bad part of it. Thank you. Detriment. And I think that's going to bode well for the Patriots here. The issue is, though, the X factor that is Josh Allen could just throw a wrench in that entire plan. And so we'll see what happens. But I think if the Patriots do what they've been doing and try not to get cute with it, I think they have a really, really good chance to seal this one up this week.
Here's the thing that I worry about, though, for the Patriots. Other than week 3 against the Steelers and a week 5 win against Buffalo. I'm sorry, and 4 weeks ago against Tampa Bay. Let me rattle off some of these teams. The Raiders, the Panthers, the Saints, Tennessee and Cleveland and Atlanta in back-to-back-to-back weeks. Then after that Tampa Bay game, they went the Jets, the Bengals, and the Giants. You haven't faced anyone good in about 5 weeks.
Yeah.
The Buffalo team is not built like the Giants, the Bengals, the Jets. No disrespect to our Bengals guy, but the Bills are built different. So the only thing I worry about is you're going to get punched in the mouth in this game in a different way than you have in the past couple of weeks. Did you learn enough from your win against the Bills in week 5? And have you built up enough rapport with this offense that when you struggle a little bit, or if it starts to turn into a shootout, can you maintain that composure against a team that over the past couple of years has taken this division over?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, listen, the benefit of going 4-13 the year before and then getting your you-know-what together is you got an easy schedule. But, I mean, they beat who they needed to beat, and they also did beat this Bills team in Buffalo. And so, while on paper this is an easier game for them, I think you are right in the terms of now the Bills are hungrier, now they're more desperate, now they understand what needs to be done. And so, yeah, that's definitely something to look out for.
We have a quarterback who's done it in the regular season and has gotten his team advancing in the playoffs against a guy who we think can do it but hasn't done it yet. So this is a big one for Drake May. It could really solidify him in an MVP race too. We've got the Jets at the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence, don't you dare. That's all I got to say. Okay, I had to eat my words because they're winning and they're in the lead in the division, but don't you dare slip up to this awful Jets team.
No, and while I think it's a less of a chance than the Texans losing to the Cardinals, it is definitely one of those games where the Jets all of a sudden could just click, really, because the Jaguars are walking into this expecting them to just roll over. And so, listen, 21-0 lead by middle of the second, coast the rest of the way, you'll be fine. Just get out to that lead, play hard, play fast. Don't
Big-
let this team stay in it.
And big implications. If Houston wins and the Jaguars were to lose, both of these teams will go to 9-5. So we'll see what happens there. Washington and the Giants in a divisional matchup. We missed something on Tuesday, and it is 100% because I did not watch Washington's game last week.
Okay.
They played Jaden Daniels, and he got hurt again.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. Let's not.
I'm just because I said poor Marcus Mariota, and I didn't even realize that he didn't play.
Yeah.
But Washington, you're this close. Like you're gonna shut it down. What are you doing? But Jackson Dart on the other side too has just as much of a chance to get himself injured in this game by the way he plays as well. But this would have been an amazing matchup with both of these teams healthy and running at their same. This could probably be the matchup for the NFC East right now if both of these coaching staffs and ownership groups could learn to protect their players. Browns at Bills. I want to head back up real quick because what is the over-under on the wind chill for the Chicago game? Cold as F.
So, okay, I can't get the wind chill they never put out there. However, according to the Weather Channel, I put this out because I actually wanted to see. Abundant sunshine, but that is the only good thing about this weather report. A high of 13 degrees.
Let's go.
With winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour and a sunset at 4:19 p.m. It's going to be cold. It's going to be real cold and real windy. And listen, Shedeur Sanders, not a great game to be playing against, but the issue is when you're a Browns quarterback, you got to get used to these games.
Absolutely. I mean, so does Caleb Williams. I think the Bears should win this one close. What I don't want to see from Shedeur is Caleb Williams go out there and look like he's playing in a dome and Shedeur look like he's playing in Mile High Stadium with 90-mile-an-hour wind or playing in Chicago with Chicago weather. I want to see some competence. I want to see this Browns team put up some points. Like I said, I don't expect them to win. No offense, as a franchise, you shouldn't be winning this game. But I want to see continued improvement.
I agree. And listen, I got a win-win scenario. Shedeur looks good, no interceptions. Myles Garrett breaks the record, Bears by 3. Win-win scenario for everyone involved.
I love it. There we go. All right, we'll get to the 4 o'clock slate. Panthers in Saints. What is that for?
It's 5 4 o'clock games.
I know. Listen, we got football.
That's crazy.
We got football. Panthers at Saints. Panthers, if they want to continue this run, they just need to continue to take care of business.
No, this Saints team definitely looks better than it has in the beginning of the year. It looks like they're figuring out, they're getting it together. But the Panthers, you got to go out and just absolutely take it to these Saints because every week is a toss-up whether the Buccaneers can put a game together where they win. And so one slip up from them and you stay consistent, you're taking the lead in that division. And that is a massive success from 1 last year, but 2, what you thought you were going to be at the beginning, or everyone thought you were going to be at the beginning of the year. Now
that Danny Dimes is hurt, is Bryce Young a lock for comeback player of the year?
Ooh, it's a tough question. I'll give you that. Looking, kind of thinking about other teams that have players like that. Maybe because they usually give it to someone who was hurt last year. They don't give it to someone who was bad and then good. And so I would say Trevor Lawrence, but like I said, they don't give that award out to people who were not great and then good. I'm thinking of people who were hurt. So
would you like to hear the FanDuel odds to make this easier on yourself?
I mean, sure, but I think you are right in that scenario.
Well, I am wrong according to FanDuel because he's not even listed.
Really?
Christian McCaffrey is at number 1.
He was hurt.
Dak Prescott at number 2. Phillip Rivers is now in at number 3
Oh, please.
at plus 1,500. Now, Christian McCaffrey is minus 140. Dak is plus 120. From after Phillip Rivers with plus 1,500, it is plus 5,000 and above. That would be Aiden Hutchinson, Trevor Lawrence, Christian Watson, Stephon Diggs, Rashid Rice, Max Crosby, Cooper Kupp, Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, it's going to Christian McCaffrey. It's going
on the list.
Well, I think the thing is Bryce Young also looked somewhat decent at the end of last year. It's just now he did it for a longer stretch. I
got to give him some love there.
It's gonna be McCaffrey. That's a very fair point there. I don't consider. I would never think of McCaffrey just because whenever he's on the field he's gonna be good.
Not me, Logan.
But I will say it makes sense because he's almost survived. Knock on wood, almost survived a full season after what we thought was a potential career-ending injury.
Excuse me, not me logging in a FanDuel to try to put some odds on there. Sorry. Like those DAC odds. All right. Detroit at LA. The LA Rams. A game the Rams need to continue to try to stay within their divisional lead. A game the Lions have to have to try to continue to make a playoff push.
Yeah, this is a game where I think both teams looked at who their next week opponent was and went, really?
Damn.
Because if you're the Rams, right, you're having this great, you're the number 1 seed, you're 10-3, but you need a win to stay at top of the division, and you have to play the Lions, who are 1, good in their own right, but 2, desperate for a win to get back into the playoff, the wild card spot. And then if you're the Lions, you're going, yeah, great win against Dallas, who is on a hot streak. Okay, who's next to keep rolling? We got to play the 10-3 number 1 seed in the NFC Rams to continue to try to get back into this playoff picture. Both teams have got to just absolutely hate that they're going up against each other. LA with a win does clinch a playoff berth. Doesn't clinch the NFC West, but clinches a playoff berth with a win here. The Lions jump up to a 75% chance to win the playoffs to make the playoffs if they win.
Also, a team where LA normally are like, okay, yeah, come to LA. We're going to turn this into a track meet. We're going to outscore you. Detroit's on the playing rod going, thank you. We're here for that. So this would be a good one. Bills and Patriots should have been flexed to Sunday night. Lions and Rams should have been flexed to Monday night. Get it together, NFL. Colts at Seahawks. Don't care about the game. Well, Seahawks by whatever. We'll talk about that in a minute because I got them in Big Bros, Big Bets. Spoiler alert. Let's get to the most important question, though, okay? Y'all, what if Phillip Rivers leads the Colts through the playoffs to his first Super Bowl at 44? That will, hands down, be the greatest story in NFL history. And it has less of a chance of happening than the Cowboys do of running through the entire NFC and winning the Super Bowl. I would bet my money on my Cowboys to do that. Maybe I have already. I won't tell you. Before I would bet on Phillip Rivers being able to actually throw the ball 30 yards.
Do you think Phillip Rivers would be the first quarterback to not cuss during the Super Bowl?
To not cuss during the Super Bowl?
Do you not hear his interviews? He's like, gosh, darn, dang. Even when he's mic'd up, he does it. It's watch Phillip Rivers mic'd up.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I've heard him lay some F-bombs on people, but maybe I'm wrong on that one. But I mean, the reaction around the Monday night set was hilarious. They asked Troy Aikman if he was warming up his arm and if he had gotten a call. Cam Newton has taken personal offense to it. Although, Cam, I love you, my guy. Like, I love me some Superman, and I love me some Auburn and some MVP Carolina Panthers, Cam Newton. Bro, we saw you with the Patriots, man. It wasn't good. However, I saw Phillip Rivers in his last couple starts, and that shit was awful. That man couldn't.
Yeah,
So,
but I will say there's like Philip Rivers has less to do to be good at his game than Cam Newton does. Cam Newton has to run, he has to evade. Philip Rivers, it is 6'7" or however tall he is, has to take 3 steps back and go, oh, okay, bow. Like that's all he has to do.
and then
They're not asking for much.
And then turn around and deliver another baby. Grandfather
Yeah.
Philip Rivers with his 9 kids and however many grandchildren. I mean, this is just a mess. And then, of course, when things like this happen, names like Colin Kaepernick come up. I don't know. I don't think this is going to work. But I would be lying my ass off if I told you I didn't want to see him play in a game. Get him in there.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're like, there's nobody currently not on a roster that would do a better job, and nobody has tape on them in 3-4 years. Why not? We're like, they're so desperate because 3 of their quarterbacks are injured. They're saying it was the same reason we picked up Flacco, and Flacco took us to the playoffs when we picked them up. It's just hey, we need you to confuse defenses for 3 games and get us into the playoffs. That's all it is.
What's Doug Flutie doing? Is Vinny Testaverde around? This is this ridiculous. Moving on. We've got another good one. Packers at Broncos. Okay, I lied. We do have 3 good games, so I don't know how we would have flexed them, but whatever. Green Bay travels to Denver. Is Green Bay going to prove to us finally against a very quality team that they are good, or are the Broncos going to win another ugly-ass game?
I was going to say, I think this is a prove-it game for both teams, even though they're both very good. Broncos clinch playoff berth with a win. Packers would just increase the gap on the Bears and the Lions, or I guess delay it, or you know what I mean. But I think both teams very much are teams that on their best day look very, very good, but rarely look like they're at their best day. And so I think this is a game where the winner of this game can say, we're putting our stamp on the rest of the season. This is a quality win. Let's move. This is the standard now. And so I think the Broncos, I favor the Broncos just because I've watched Jordan Love against tough defenses and it's not pretty. And so I think this Broncos offense can do enough against a Packers defense that has only shown up a couple times this season, where the Broncos defense has showed up every game. And it's a large reason for this 11-2 record.
I think it's it's a long-term bigger game for the Broncos, but right now I think the Packers need it more. The Broncos know what their formula is. However, we don't believe in the Broncos long-term because we just don't know what we're going to get out of Bo Nix. And at some point, if you figure it out, you can figure out this team. Regardless of, it's going to be tough to score points, but you can hold this offense down. If the Packers win, we're just going to go right back to glazing the Packers. Jordan Love's the GOAT. This team's ready. Like,
if Jordan Love throws for like 350 and 3 touchdowns, I'll give him all the praise in the world.
The media will be all over them. If the Broncos can actually go out and win and put up some points, I think it gives us a better insight that, hey, this Broncos team's for real. Regardless of whether or not the Packers win, the media will ride it, but I still am not sure yet until I see it happen. I'm very unsure of what this Broncos team can do in the playoffs. This will be a better insight into that.
I agree. I think if the Broncos win, I think the phrase of this team that defines this team is they know how to win regardless. And then if the Packers win, I think that's hey, this Packers team is finally figuring it out when it matters. I think that's going to be the storyline of either way.
There we go. We'll roll on. Titans at 49ers. 49ers take care of business.
Man, don't the Rams wish they'd be playing the Titans right now? Ooh. And not the Lions?
Man, you're not lying. Not lying about the Lions. Sunday Night Football. The Vikings travel to AT&T Stadium to take on the Dallas Cowboys.
And Ken, I think this is a perfect segue. I didn't want to do it yesterday because you were yelling like an old man.
I may have murdered you.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna do it now. Ken, obviously not the result you needed last week, but the odds are not zero. You are still in this, and so we're gonna quickly go over back to Ken's path to our year. Obviously, that big L on the Lions is not great. However, if we look, your current record 6-6-1. You're a game and a half out of the NFC East and 2.5 games out of the wild card. Yes, 10% are not great odds. However, like I said, they are not zero. The Eagles have been known. I think the NFC East is your only path here. The Eagles have been known to flub, and they looked really bad last week. We could potentially see a collapse here. If they lose against Vegas, that's a sure sign. And listen, that was your hardest remaining game. The Vikings are not great offensively. The Chargers, as we've said, are up and down, and the Commanders and Giants are absolute train wrecks right now. So Ken, it's looking bleak, but you gotta keep the hope. The hope is all that you got.
First of all, I just want to point out those said Vikings that you said are not super offensively talented. Definitely put 31 on Washington last week. So
on Washington.
I understand. I'm just going to give them some respect. First of all, 1.5 games out of the NFC East and 2.5 games back of the wild card. What is this, baseball? 2.5 games back, 1.5.
Well, hey, when you get a tie, sorry, that's just what happens.
No, I understand.
You made it hard on yourself, okay?
What else is new? Hey, we them boys. Right? We them boys.
Right.
Sure.
Right. Come on.
Yeah, I told you this is all gonna come down to week 17 against the Giants. So Cowboys, 33-24 winners over the Vikings.
All right, I love the confidence there. Hey, you're at home Sunday night, so the glare coming into AT&T Stadium is not going to bother your receivers. I think you'll be all right.
You're lucky right now. You're so lucky. We cussed too much on Tuesday or yesterday. Anymore today, we might get in trouble. So I'm gonna just allow you to get your little crappy joke off and keep it moving.
It was a good one. I don't want to hear it.
Put some damn curtains up, Jerry. Finally, Monday Night Football, Dolphins at Steelers. Steelers, you lose this game, and I'm going to torch your asses come Tuesday.
Oh, please. That would be the best thing ever. Honestly, that would be the most recent Steelers thing ever, to come out and get a great win against Baltimore, only to flub it on Monday night to a Dolphins team that is technically 6-7. I know we crap on the Dolphins and we act like they're this awful team. They're a 500 team, and so it is. The Steelers should win this game. However, it would be very Mike Tomlin-like to just expend all of your energy on Baltimore just to lose to this Miami team at home on Monday night.
First of all, the fact that we're talking about a 6-7 team being like good just shows you the state of the NFL right now. Number one. Number two,
I didn't say they're guys. They weren't garbage like we talk about them.
Moving on. Pittsburgh is 7-6, Baltimore 6-7, Cincinnati 4-9. A Pittsburgh loss and a Baltimore
Browns
win.
3-9.
Yeah, 3-10 actually. With a Pittsburgh loss and a Baltimore win, they could then regain that tie in the division. However, with a Bengals win and a Steelers loss, the Bengals would only be 2 games out. Come on. I want chaos. All right. Now, here's what we're going to do. You're going to get rid of this. I'm tired of looking at that. I don't even want to see my own team's logo. We're going to take a quick 50-second break. Stick around. This is, without a doubt, the most exciting footy segment that we have had in a very long time. It's not going to get overly nerdy, but stick around after our Ani's Army commercial because we got some good footy stuff coming up. I know Drew's excited. He cooked up some good stuff for us. We'll be back in a second.
Today, I want to talk to you about Ani's Army Foundation. Started by Mark and Lynn Meyer to honor their daughter Annika, Ani's Army Foundation was formed to raise money for the research of medulloblastoma tumors and other pediatric cancers, while making a positive impact on the community and helping those families in need. Here on the website, anisarmy.org, you can follow Ani's story, a story of strength and the love that her family has with her and she has with them as she fights this battle. Here on the website, if you can, please donate via Venmo, credit card, PayPal, cash, or check. Any donation is loved and any donation is appreciated. Thank you.
All right, giving little bro a second to get back in the chair there. All
Oh,
right,
I was perfectly on time.
I know you were. Back in here on the Straub Bro Sports Show, and that's all right, Mom. Not a lot of people understand when we switch over to the footy, but this one, you don't need to understand it to be excited about that. We'll get to that in a second. First things first, as Straub says, never mind, I won't expose you. First things first, let's confuse the people a little bit. Let's get to this week's fixtures, and then we'll get to the important stuff that we had mentioned on the front end.
Yeah, and we'll do the two other ones outside of our own first. Manchester City travel to Selhurst Park to take on Crystal Palace. Ken, I know this Manchester City team has been rolling, but Crystal Palace has been the giant slayer this year, and so it's going to be very interesting to watch this game because I could see Manchester City coming in and rolling because of how well they're playing, but I could also see Crystal Palace making this very, very tough and eking out a result here.
I know this is going to sound weird. They got to take a play out of my playbook when I traveled there recently and got 3 points. You have to withstand their attacks when they come in, because when they do, that crowd at Selhurst Park gets extremely loud. It becomes a tough place to play. You make a mistake or two and they're all over you. Manchester City just needs to control the ball. I would actually like to see them pick the pace up a little bit, because Crystal Palace has been one of these teams that, okay, you want to control possession? Fine. I'm going to sit 10. I'll sit 10 back and we'll soak it up, and then we'll eventually get it and we'll counter. So that could happen. So I want to see if Manchester City is to win this game. I can't believe I'm talking like this here in the footy segment, but it's okay. They're going to have to pick up the pace a little bit and play with some fluidity and play with some speed to be able to break down this Crystal Palace team.
I agree, and I think the addition of Phil Foden back after injury has given this team a great boost, and so I would not be surprised if that's something that they lean on for this game. Next.
Yes. Hold on. Yes, Greg. This is English Premier League soccer. Stay with us. I'm going to spoil it a little bit. We got some World Cup stuff to talk about here at the end for everybody to get involved with. But yes, we're touching in on our English Premier League right now.
Absolutely, yeah. It's the best professional soccer league in the world. That's basically all you can say. Next, Newcastle travel to the Stadium of Lights to face Sunderland. Sunderland, a lot of hard fixtures lately. I know we consider this Newcastle team good and can get up for some games, but it has looked pretty mediocre this year so far in the table. Sunderland, I think, to show that they're not slipping, I think needs to get a win here.
And I think they will. I think Sunderland will get the result here. I think playing at home will help. I think they're going to rebound from a beatdown pretty much from Manchester City. And I think they're going to respond greatly. And I think they're going to shock and surprise this Newcastle team.
I like that, because the thing Sunderland, I think, has to adjust to now is they're not going to surprise teams anymore. I think everyone understands that the Sunderland team is going to come out and going to play them tough and play them hard. And so how are they going to do something to now take on these teams that are ready for that? And so that'll be interesting to watch on this one.
Absolutely. And now, hold on. I got you. Little Bros, a big fixture here. A Chelsea team that has been on the down end of one of their up and down sprees this year. Host Everton, a punchy, a scrappy Everton team that came into Old Trafford and stole points. Drew, a slip up here could really cost you if you don't bring a complete performance.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think the issue is, one, this is Caicedo's last game for his 3-game red card suspension. And so, again, we're going to be out our
an important
stable
player in the wheel.
Well, yeah, I mean, your cornerstone in the midfield, honestly, as he can just kind of take over the midfield in some games. But that should not deter this team. This team is way too talented, especially going forward. This is an Everton team that is going to let you have possession, is going to let you just figure and then break out with some pace. I need to see something from my star players. I need to see Cole Palmer do something. I need to see Reece James do something. I need to see Esteval come out and provide a spark. I need my best players to shine here to break out of this slump, because that's usually how great teams break out of slumps. Their best players come out and drag teams to results to get their confidence back. So that's what I need to see. It's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be pretty. I think this Chelsea team is still going to be kind of on its heels from the past week or so, but you need to get a win here.
Yeah, 3 points is a must for Chelsea to try to kind of maintain some position as we go into the Christmas break too. Go ahead, bro.
Yes. So, and as he talked about my game, I'm gonna introduce his game. Manchester United coming off a very good win against a very bad team last week, getting the get right game, basically, similar to what the Eagles are hoping against Vegas. However, this week they host a Bournemouth team that, while has been not as great as they were in the beginning of the year, still have a very, very solid defense. And the attack, while not as electric as it was at the beginning of the season, still very, very strong and will create chances. Ken, how are we feeling hosting a team that maybe not would provide you much resistance to your defense, is going to kind of frustrate you a little bit in your attack with a team that is still struggling to find some consistency in that attack?
First of all, this is a Manchester United team that has one clean sheet, one game of giving up 0 goals all year. So everyone gives my defense problems, first of all. So throw that out the window. Secondly, we have to take a page out of your analysis for your game. Bruno Fernandes and Buemo. And I would want to say probably Ahmad Dallo, my best players, but basically Bruno. You got to grab this game by the neck and make it happen as a superstar, as a big top player. This Bournemouth team, Drew, with you, we know that they can shut down the big six, the top clubs in the Premier League. This Manchester United team is going to have a lot of chances on goal. We've got to convert and stay sharp. 3 points is a must here. We're right behind Chelsea in the table. We're only a couple points off of Champions League qualification right now. It's time for this team to take that step. The problem is, every time I say this, it's a draw or a loss. So I'm looking for it. I'm hoping for it. It should happen. But this team's got to go out and deliver.
No, I agree. I think this is a team that typically, a team like this is typically one that gives you fits and kind of leaves you frustrated regardless of the result. And so hopefully, even if you are frustrated, it comes out with a win.
Absolutely. All right, that's it. Done. Let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, it happened late last week. We haven't been able to talk about it because it did happen after our show, but it is official. We have them. Drew's going to put them up. The official groups for the 2026 World Cup. Yes.
That is a thing of beauty. And Ken, you made the joke, and I'm going to repeat it. This looks just as good as your CFP ranking or your CFP playoff graphic. It's absolutely phenomenal, and I want to give myself credit for that.
Absolutely. You did a lot of hard work on this one. Let's get to what we want to talk about, the most important thing for us, and that is Group D, the U.S.'s group. Drew, for the first time in your conscious sports brain, and probably for the longest time since probably since I was a very, very young lad, the United States is not in the group of death.
It's a really nice feeling. I think that's what happens when you are a pot one team, because we've always been pot two. Just to explain, each team is pot 1, pot 2, pot 3, and pot 4. And so we're usually the second tier teams, but because we're hosting, we're the first tier teams. Yeah, it feels good. I mean, obviously, while we don't have any of those powerhouses, Germany, Brazil, Netherlands, Spain, France, any of those guys,
England.
we still have, I will say, a group that, if not taken seriously, could be very, very hard to get out of. I will say we have played Paraguay and Australia recently. We won both games. However, it was 2-1 for both of them. And so these teams, and especially Australia, are teams that may not have the best talent in the world and are probably honestly on the lower end of talent when it comes to kind of World Cup teams. But in terms of playing as a team, playing as a unit, and making the game as difficult as possible for the other team, they're some of the best in the world at that. And that's when a team like the US has to truly, one, not allow them to get into their heads, but two, take each game professionally and play as hard as you would if you were playing a Spain, a Brazil, a Portugal, any of those teams.
So who is our still potential fourth team out of that UEFA playoff spot?
So there are four teams. Four teams still technically available. So one is Slovakia. And so basically, to reiterate, the European teams that didn't automatically qualify go into a playoff spot. And so four teams from that get out of it. It is Slovakia, it is Romania, it is Turkey, and it is Kosovo. We avoided Norway. We avoided Italy in our potential playoff spot. So that's a big, big bonus to us. But I will say all of those teams are going to be very, very tough as well. While we do not have I was real quick. I'll say while we do not have a top 10 in ranked team in the world in our group, we are the third hardest group by average FIFA rank because of how close everyone is to each other.
While we're not in the group of death, we are, yes, as you said, closely ranked with all of these teams. However, for one of the first times in our lives, we could honestly say the United States is the most talented team in this group. So all of the obstacles are no longer in the way. There's no group of death. There's no England in this group. There's no Portugal in this group. You are technically the class of this group. It is now time for this crop of players to put up or shut up. Here it is. And the fixtures that we go away with before the World Cup are some great tests for this team to get ready. There's no more excuses for this team. It's laid out in front of you. You got quality opponents that we haven't had a lot of because we haven't had to qualify. And now you now have a couple tough opponents before on your send-off to get you ready for a group that you should walk away with at least 6 points.
No, you're absolutely right. I think 7 is the minimum. I think you have to be, but you have to. Well, I think to top this group, I think you have to at least have 7. I think you need to beat Paraguay or Australia, draw with the other, and then you need to beat that playoff C team because I don't think any of them are truly good enough to compete with the other 3 teams. They'll get a point or they'll steal something, but you should win against that team. Speaking of those friendlies, and we're gonna list them out. March is the first one. We play Belgium in Atlanta. That is a massive game. Obviously, Belgium not as good as they once were, but still a very, very good team and kind of a ramping up to playing the big boys. That same window, we play Portugal. It is finally rumored that Ronaldo will make his long-awaited return to the States. That'll be a big game as Portugal, top 3 in the world, in terms of that's going to be a massive game. Then we go over to May, where it was announced today, we play Senegal. Obviously, Senegal, not a big name when it comes to the average player or the average fan, but Senegal, a very, very talented team, made it to the knockout stages last year, play very, very well, and are very, very tight-knit as a group, so that'll be a tough test. And the send-off game, June 6th, by far our toughest game, maybe Portugal, but I would say this one's tougher. Germany in Chicago, that's a massive game, and I think, honestly, that's going to be the game that truly tells me how we are truly going to do in this World Cup, because Portugal, while very good, plays down sometimes. Germany, always at the same level, always very good, and is so, so, so talented this year. That'll be a very, very big test for us.
The important thing for this team is your 4 games are against 4 teams that are locked in and qualified for the World Cup. That is not something this federation has done a lot of on these send-off games. There's been a lot of cupcakes. There's been a lot of teams that aren't qualified or barely qualified. Other than that Senegal game, although Senegal qualified pretty easily in the African side, Belgium, no joke. Portugal, we already know. Germany as well, we already know. So great test for this team to get ramped up. We're not gonna dive into the rest of the groups. We've got plenty of time to talk about that. Hopefully, when we start talking about that, me and Drew will be sharing some big news behind the scenes in terms of some World Cup stuff. But we're gonna cross our fingers and pump the brakes there. All right, a short one. Go ahead.
I would say real quick to end the segment. I do want to give props because I do believe that Mauricio Pochettino had a big hand in this. I want to roll back some criticism I think I've had of him in terms of there was a lot of the same when it came to opponents early on in his tenure here. And whether or not that was his decision or not, I truly think that the idea was to get these guys used to his system with some lesser opponents. But now that this team seems to finally have figured out a system with a big win against Uruguay last window, they are now saying, okay, now we have to put this to the test against the top because that's where we want to be. And I think that's a great message to send to these guys. And I think while we've talked about on this show about players coming into friendlies not really truly wanting to be there and not playing their hardest, these are going to be games where they're truly going to put it all out there, because this is a coach that is looking at every single player in terms of World Cup spots. And I think you're going to see a lot of great football and a lot of just great play from some of our top players. And I think these are big games to see who is going to be on the plane, I guess, going to LA and who is not.
Yeah, that'll be a big one. We'll do absolutely. We'll do a massive United States men's national team reveal for the World Cup as we get closer. I'm also going to agree with Pochettino in the way he criticized the players and he left some guys off, and he made a comment, and it's true. Guys are now hungry and guys are now working hard. It was something Pochettino said that Landon Donovan built on. Guys are now hungry again to get to play and to get those caps and to put the U.S. jersey on, and that's what this team needed. And 100% Mauricio Pochettino was involved with that schedule. Not just 4 teams that made the World Cup, but 3 in the top 10. That's 100% a coach saying my guys need to be challenged before we get there. So that's great. But we will have more on that as we get closer to the summertime and as we get closer to when it warms up. As it warms up, the heat on the World Cup will warm up as well. That'll do it for us. A short one today, but after yesterday's 2-hour rant fest, it was good to have a short one today. We will be back in our normal schedule programming next week, back to the Tuesdays and Thursdays. And yes, we did talk about it. We didn't have it today. We weren't prepped to have to do it on a back-to-back today. We will start talking some hoops next week. The plan for us is to probably do NBA once every 2 weeks. We're going to dive into some college basketball weekly, especially because we've got the men's and the women's side. I don't need to talk about what Luka did every day. I will if y'all want me to, but I don't think you want that. Right. And how many times the Oklahoma City screws me over in a bet. But nonetheless, we will start touching on hoops next week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, but that's next week. for tonight. That'll do it for us. Love you, Mama. As always, appreciate everybody who tapped in and rocked in with us today. Appreciate you, Daniel. Appreciate you, Greg. Appreciate you, Ray. All my guys, all my people watching who didn't comment. That's all good, too. We love and appreciate you. Do us a favor, even if you are on YouTube or if you're over on Facebook, give us a like on your way out. Give us a share if you really love us, too. Help us spread the word on the Straub Bros Sports Show. Final shout-outs, Lil Bro.
Yes, thank you, everyone watching, liking, commenting, however you help support the show. We greatly appreciate it. We always do. And I really don't have a shout out today, but I will say, because it's on brand, if you were intrigued about this World Cup, because by the way, it is in the United States this year, and there's one in Toronto, there's one in New Jersey, there's one in Kansas City, there's one in Boston. They're not insane distances, but they have some distance. If you're interested, FIFA is currently, for the month of December into the first week of January, holding World Cup game ticket applications. Basically, you just put in what game you want to go to. You put in the amount of tickets, up to 4 tickets. And in sometime in February, you'll know if you have World Cup tickets. So check it out, FIFA.com. Listen, my goal as a soccer fan is to get as many people in love with soccer as much as me and my brother are. And so check it out, even if you're somewhat interested, because listen, maybe soccer isn't fun to watch, but I will guarantee you it's going to be the most on TV. It's going to be the most fun live experience of your life if you were to get tickets. And I would highly, highly recommend it for anyone, from the person who loves soccer and watches it every week to someone who has never watched a game on TV in his life. Check it out.
And we don't know where yet, but the Straub Bros Sports Show will be at a World Cup game. We do know that for sure.
Yeah, that is guaranteed. Just where is the question?
So tap in with us if you happen to be out and about and you're in one of those World Cup cities. Shout out to Straub Bros Sports Show. We'll get together. We'll have some beers. Because that's how we do it. That'll do it for us. We'll see you Tuesday. Enjoy your weekend. Hopefully it warms up wherever you are, because I know it ain't gonna warm up over here. For little bro Drew, I am Big Bro Ken, signing off for the Straub Bros Sports Show. Please remember to love yours.
Hey, Ken's got fire and a wild hot take. Hey, Andrew's stats make the whole place shake. Hey, laughing loud when your team goes down. Hey, Straub boys run this sports town. Show. This is the Straub Bros Sports Show. Sundays, Mondays, we live for the fight. Hey, college game day and Thursday night. Hey, rivals fall and the banter flies. We bleed our teams till the day we die.